After Lyric's death, you shared when we were talking earlier that the pain was inescapable. And so what happened next in your life?
So I just know during that 5 months, in my mind, so I thought the worst. So if it was raining, I thought maybe they were outside in the rain, tied up, being beaten. So I would stand out in the rain. It was hard to eat because I didn't know if they were eating. So if they weren't eating, I didn't want to either. It is very hard to escape the mind when you know, believe somebody to be out there with someone that is wanting to cause harm and only harm to someone else. And so it almost, it was, it's just really more than the mind or the emotions can handle. I don't know, I couldn't. And so in March 2013, I just went back to getting high. I just wanted to numb my thoughts and my feelings. And I know from my past a very good way to do that. And so I just went right back to it. And it worked. It did what I wanted it to do for quite a while, until I went to prison.
Did things change when you left your sentence, when you finished your prison time? For you, like how you felt in managing this unimaginable?
I suppose I just came to a place where at some point along the road, I had to just say, I can't handle the mind frame and the feelings that come with not knowing what happened to someone that I care that much about. And so somehow, I don't really know how, I just began to release, the feelings of it and the thoughts of it, and just be accepting that this is what it is and this is what happened. And I do want to move on with my life. I don't want to destroy it because I am constantly thinking about that or feeling how it feels to think about it. And so that's what I did. And that's when I, met Zach and decided to have, some more babies.
Did you get therapy to help you through this?
I've had therapy, but I wouldn't say that helped. Honestly, there is no therapist that I've ever met that's equipped to handle this situation. There's not. Never. And I've been to several.
How often do investigators talk to you now?
So investigators, since I moved to, since December, since we buried him in 2012, have never talked to me.
What?
Never. Never. They've never contacted me. Not once.
And they had you do polygraphs. Mm-hmm. They interviewed you in the early weeks and early months, but after the bodies were found, nothing?
Never. Not one time.
Have they communicated with Dan, do you know? Have they communicated with Elizabeth's family?
Yep.
Why the difference?
I don't know if it's just the same, like, persona that just carried through those 5 months. And the police acted the same way as the public. Mm. It's not all the public, but you know what I mean? Some. But their interest in us at that point was none. And I don't know if we just served their purpose to that degree and they didn't need anything more from us, or, I guess I really don't have an answer for you. I just know that I've never heard from anybody. And it sure wasn't hard to find me for quite a while. See, as I ended up back in prison, they knew where I was.
You know, you talked about the police and the investigators saying it's likely someone who knew the region. It could even be someone you know, someone who maybe is close to your family, and that everyone you met was a suspect.
Yeah.
That you were. Do you feel like you know who did this now?
No. That's a heavy thing to put on someone that, if you don't really have hard facts. It's really and I know what it feels like to have someone put a speculation on me, and which isn't mine to own. And so I never have been one to guess at that kind of thing. I've heard all sorts of different theories, and I've heard everybody's, thoughts or whatever. I personally believe if it wasn't someone on the actual police force or somebody in authority and it's being covered up, then that person's probably dead. And there's so many factors too. I mean, so like we don't know if they were raped or molested or if it was a pedophile issue. If it was, then that person probably would have reoffended by now. If it wasn't that, then how does it get covered up for this long in such a small area? There's just a lot. There's probably more questions than there really are answers, and rightfully so that police don't give you any information. So speculation just really does nothing. And so there's just a long time ago I had to give up the desire or the need to guess at any of this.
You and your sister both share a loss in such a terrible way, obviously. Was it something that you could lean on each other through?
So maybe at first we were gonna, but then no, it divided everybody. There was just so much confusion and anger, and I don't blame anyone, because I remember looking at every person that I met and just saying, did you have something to do with it? Do you know? And that was in a complete sober mind frame. I saw one of my best friends and I just said, maybe you had something to do with it, like the speculation to, because you have cops telling you, well, it's probably a family member, somebody close to you that already knows them. And then you're looking at everybody that's closest to you and you're like, okay, I can't be stupid here. Maybe it is somebody that's closest to me and I'm overlooking it, and so everybody becomes a suspect. And so I don't blame our family for splitting apart. It was just too much. It was just too much. It was too much, and nobody really knew how to facilitate it. Nobody, not the cops, not therapists, nobody knew how to facilitate it. We were winging it from day one, But there's been a lot of times since then, especially in the last few years, that we've gotten to have closure together, talk, not necessarily always just about that, but just reintroduce ourselves to one another.